Have you ever wondered why some people keep growing in life, while others stay stuck in the same place, even though all of us are given the exact same 24 hours every single day? It's not about luck, it's not about destiny, and it's definitely not because life chose them for success. The real difference is simple. They decided to make learning a part of their daily life, while others kept waiting for the right time to start. But let me clear one thing. When I say education, I don't mean sitting in a classroom again or forcing yourself to go through boring textbooks that you will never use. I mean a different kind of education, the type that slowly but surely slips into your routine and changes the way you think. Just imagine, if every single day you picked up one new idea, one new perspective, or even one new skill, how much sharper your mind would become in a week, in a month, and in a whole year. At first it sounds small, almost meaningless. But when you stack these small lessons day after day, they quietly build into something massive, and one day you'll notice that you no longer think the same way you used to. Think about your daily routine for a second. When you scroll on your phone for hours, what do you really gain? A few jokes, a few distractions, maybe a story that you forget the very next moment, and that's all. Now imagine if you swap just 10 minutes of that time for reading one page of a powerful book, or watching a talk that inspires you, or even listening to a podcast that adds value to your thinking. 10 minutes doesn't sound like much, but over time it changes everything. The truth is, your brain is always learning, whether you guide it or not. And if you don't feed it with knowledge, it will still absorb noise, negativity, and habits that pull you down. That's why daily self-education works like fresh water for your mind. It keeps your thoughts clear. It refreshes your energy, and it stops you from drowning in useless information. And here's the real beauty of it. Education is not about memorizing facts. It's about training your perspective. And when your perspective sharpens, you start seeing opportunities where others see only problems. You begin to connect ideas that no one else notices. You act with more confidence, and you realize that even the smallest daily effort has the power to completely change your future. So here's a challenge for you today. Before you sleep tonight, pick just one thing to learn, no matter how small it may seem, and then tomorrow repeat the process again, because one day your future self will thank you for every little lesson you decided to collect today. When you think about daily education, it's easy to feel like it will take a huge effort, but in reality, the smallest consistent actions are the ones that build the strongest foundations. Consider this. You don't need to read an entire book in one sitting. You only need to read a page today, another tomorrow, and slowly the knowledge will begin to stack inside your mind. People often underestimate what can happen when tiny habits are repeated, because in the moment it feels too small to matter. But over time, those small actions become life-changing. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. You don't see the results immediately, but under the soil, growth is quietly happening every single day. Your mind works in the exact same way. What you feed it daily, even if it looks invisible now, will eventually shape who you become. And here's the fascinating part. You don't have to limit yourself to books alone. Education today comes in so many forms, like podcasts, documentaries, articles, or even deep conversations with the right people. Every time you expose yourself to new knowledge, you are giving your brain fresh material to work with, and this material eventually becomes wisdom. But the key is not to treat learning like a burden. The key is to weave it into your life in ways that feel natural, so that it doesn't become a task you avoid. For example, instead of wasting commute time scrolling mindlessly, you could listen to an audiobook, or instead of watching meaningless content before bed, you could watch something that teaches you one powerful lesson. The question you must ask yourself is simple. Are you letting time control you, or are you using time to build yourself? Because every day that passes without learning is a day lost, and you cannot get that day back again no matter what you do tomorrow. Daily education is not about pressure. It's about progress. It's about making sure that when you look back a month from now, you see a version of yourself that has grown. And when that growth begins to show, it gives you confidence, it gives you energy, and it proves to you that you are capable of becoming more than you thought. So remember this: one new idea, one new habit, or even one new word learned each day has the power to move you forward in ways you cannot even imagine today. Most people believe education ends after school or college. But the truth is, real education begins the moment you decide to take responsibility for your own growth. Think about it. Schools can only give you a foundation. They can't prepare you for every challenge, every decision, or every opportunity that life will bring your way. That's why daily learning is not optional. It is the only way to keep your mind sharp and ready for the unexpected. Life constantly throws new situations at you, and the person who is always learning can adapt faster, while the one who stopped learning struggles to keep up. When you commit to educating yourself every day, you are building a flexible mind, a mind that can bend without breaking. And that flexibility is priceless, because no matter what comes your way, you have the tools to understand, adjust, and move forward. Take a look at successful people you admire. You'll notice that almost all of them are obsessed with learning. They read, they listen, they ask questions, and they never assume they know enough. The reason is simple. The world is always changing. And if you are not growing with it, you are silently falling behind. It's like trying to run on a treadmill that never stops. If you stop moving your feet, the machine will push you backward whether you like it or not. But here's the inspiring part. You don't need to race ahead of everyone. You only need to keep moving forward one step at a time. Daily learning gives you that one step. It keeps you moving. It keeps you alive, and it protects you from the trap of staying stuck in old ways of thinking. And the more you learn, the more you realize that education is not just about knowledge. It's about confidence. It's about believing that you can face the unknown because you trust yourself to learn what is needed. That's why the habit of self-education is powerful. It builds a kind of quiet strength inside you, a strength that doesn't need to show off but always shows up when life tests you. So every day, when you choose to learn something new, you are not just filling your brain with facts. You are shaping a future where you are prepared, capable, and unshakable. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that learning has to be serious. But in reality, the best kind of education happens when curiosity leads the way. When you follow curiosity, you don't feel pressure, you feel excitement. because every new lesson feels like discovering a hidden treasure. Think about a child exploring something for the first time. Their eyes light up, their energy rises, and they lose track of time completely. That is the same energy you need to bring into your own learning. Because when you enjoy the process, knowledge sticks to you like glue. If you choose topics that excite you, you will never feel forced to learn. Instead, you will naturally want to keep going deeper. And once you create that excitement, you'll notice that one small interest can open doors to many new areas you never thought about before. For example, you might start by reading about health, and suddenly you find yourself curious about nutrition, psychology, and even habits that improve your daily routine. Or maybe you begin learning a new language, and soon you discover cultures, histories, and ideas that completely expand your world. This is how curiosity multiplies education. One spark leads to another, until your mind becomes a fire of constant discovery. But here's the key. You must allow yourself to be a beginner, because without the courage to be bad at something new, you'll never allow yourself to grow into someone great. Too many people stop learning because they fear looking slow, or they worry about making mistakes, forgetting that mistakes are proof you are moving forward. If you can drop that fear and embrace the process, you will turn every mistake into a stepping stone toward mastery. And over time, this attitude builds resilience, because you stop expecting perfection, and instead you focus on progress. That progress is what fuels confidence, and confidence is what makes you unstoppable in whatever path you choose. So the real secret to daily education is not discipline alone. It's curiosity, it's passion, and it's the willingness to remain a student for life. Every time you choose to learn something new, you're actually training your brain to stay young, flexible, and alive. The human brain is like a muscle. The more you exercise it with fresh knowledge, the stronger and sharper it becomes. On the other hand, if you stop challenging your mind, it begins to slow down. It becomes dull and it loses the spark that makes life exciting. That's why people who never push themselves to learn often feel stuck, bored, or unmotivated because their brain is not being stretched anymore. But when you feed your mind every day, you create new connections. You strengthen memory and you unlock creativity that surprises even you. This is why so many studies show that lifelong learners not only grow smarter, but they also live healthier and more fulfilled lives. Because learning does not just expand knowledge, it boosts confidence, reduces stress, and gives you a sense of purpose every single day. Think about it. When you learn something new, don't you feel a spark of excitement, a little rush that makes you want to keep going? That feeling is proof that your brain is alive, and that you are moving forward instead of staying stuck in the past. And here's something powerful to remember. Every bit of education you collect today will serve you tomorrow in ways you cannot predict right now. The book you read today may give you an answer next week. The idea you hear today may open a door a year later, and the lesson you learn today may save you in a crisis you haven't faced yet. Nothing you learn ever goes to waste. It always hides inside you, waiting for the right moment to appear when you need it most. That's why daily learning is like building a secret treasure chest inside your mind. Every small piece of knowledge becomes a coin of wisdom that you will spend in the future. And the best part is, this treasure chest never gets full. The more you add, the richer you become, and the more powerful your life turns out to be. So when you ask yourself if learning today is worth it, remember that you are not just learning for today. You are preparing for every tomorrow that is yet to come. Many people wait for the right moment to start learning. But the truth is, the right moment never comes on its own. You have to create it. If you keep telling yourself that you'll start when life slows down, you'll keep waiting forever, because life always finds a way to stay busy. That's why the most successful learners don't wait for time. They make time, even if it's just 10 minutes in the morning or 15 minutes before sleeping. And here's something important. Consistency matters far more than intensity, because 1 page a day for a year is better than reading a whole book once and then forgetting to continue. Daily learning is about rhythm. It's about training your brain to expect new knowledge the same way your body expects food. When you create that rhythm, your mind starts to crave growth. It feels restless when a day passes without feeding it something new. And that craving is powerful, because it pushes you to look for lessons everywhere, not just in books or lectures, but even in small conversations and daily experiences. For example, you can learn from watching how people behave, from noticing patterns in nature, from reflecting on mistakes, and even from failures that once felt painful. Every situation in life carries a lesson, but only those who train their minds to look for it are able to see it clearly. And here's the beauty. When you become a daily learner, you stop fearing challenges, because deep down you know that every challenge brings an opportunity to learn something new. This makes you calmer in stressful moments, because instead of asking, "Why me?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" And that question alone changes everything. Think about how powerful that mindset is, because the person who sees lessons in every difficulty cannot be broken. They can only be strengthened. And with every new lesson, your self-belief grows, your resilience grows, and your ability to navigate life becomes stronger than before. This is why self-education is more than knowledge. It's a form of self-respect. It's the daily promise you make to yourself that you will not stay the same. You are telling yourself every day, "I deserve to grow, I deserve to improve, and I deserve to keep becoming better than I was yesterday." And that belief slowly transforms the way you live, because once you see yourself as a learner, you begin to see the entire world as your classroom. At that point, nothing is ordinary anymore. Every book, every video, every mistake, and every person you meet becomes a teacher guiding you forward. So if you really want to change your life, don't wait for the perfect chance. Take today as your chance and begin educating yourself in the smallest way possible right now. And when you look closely, you'll see that small lessons stack up quietly. They don't shout, they don't show results instantly, but they build silently. The knowledge you gain today might seem invisible, almost weightless. Yet weeks later, you'll notice your thoughts sharper, your choices wiser. It's in those little changes that the power of daily education hides, not in grand breakthroughs, but in the subtle rewiring of your mind. You'll find yourself listening differently, noticing details you missed before. Suddenly the conversations that bored you start giving you new insights. This shift is proof that learning is not only about books or courses, it's about awareness, about how you process what life throws at you. And slowly, without forcing it, you start carrying a quiet confidence. Because you no longer fear the unknown, you train yourself to explore it. That is the gift of educating yourself daily. Not overnight success, but a gradual transformation that no one can take away from you.